An ordinary guy falls for a blonde bombshell and she's out of my league, but this time around, the blonde likes him back. Kurt Kettner, played by Jay Baruchel, is an average guy with an average job. He has a group of friends that are opinionated about everything, almost to the point where whatever he thinks doesn't really matter, and the love of his life is his ex-girlfriend Marnie, a girl he can't get over and tries to win back. It doesn't really go too well. That is until one day Molly, played by British actress Alice Eve, falls into his life and the two become well acquainted. To Kurt's surprise, Molly digs him, and for some reason, he can't understand the idea of how a beautiful girl like Molly can like a guy like himself, especially when his friends continue to remind him this very notion. A 5 can't get with a 10, they say. This number comparison messes with Kurt's mind more than we know, and is the catalyst of his struggles in the movie. She's Out of My League is typical romantic comedy fare with a dash of Judd Apatow-style comedy to boot. Now when I say typical, I mean we know how this one's gonna end, but what makes this movie work is that we care about the Kurt character. It's hard not to. Jay Baruchel plays the every guy very well, nervous and sure of himself. He makes the character fun to watch and we want him to get the girl in the end. Now my opinions about rom-coms are we can usually guess how they end, but the real problem is that we rarely care about the characters. This time, we do. This movie is funny, but the gags fall flat in places and aren't really consistent. It's a mix of laugh-out-loud dialogue, usually with the friends who have very funny opinions, and over-the-top situations, including one in a bathroom that was more uncomfortable than comedic. The biggest problem is Kurt's brother, who instead of being funny, was obviously trying too hard to get a laugh. I was interested in how the movie would explain why Molly would be interested in Kurt, since the first thing I thought was how this could play out in real life. I believe this ordinary guy could get the girl, because the girl, as beautiful as she is, just wants to be accepted like everyone else. The movie isn't deep, but the relationship between the two characters feels natural and possible, making the bathroom humor and over-the-top family characters seem like they belong in another movie entirely. While She's Out of My League has typical rom-com cliches, predictability, and falls flat sometimes with the comedy, it has many great moments between its characters with some heart that make it an enjoyable time at the movies, and it can't help but root for the underdog. Most people don't feel like a 10. And whether you're a man or a woman, we all know a Kurt in our lives. We may even be him. The movie knows this, and that's why it works.